Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Oh, it is. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. Gary Mitchell with you for the next fun-filled, chat-filled, sexy face-filled half hour. And first up tonight, hello, my mate. Hello, Tanya.
Hello, darling. How good to see you.
Oh, how good to see you. Have you been away?
I have been. Can't you tell by this glorious
Where have
tan?
you been?
I've been to Bali.
Again?
Again?
Didn't you go to Bali about 5 minutes ago?
About 5 minutes ago.
You did?
Yeah, and it was beautiful.
Nice to have you here. Bali's always beautiful. When was the last time you were in Bali?
Last year.
That could be time to visit again then.
Oh, yeah, could be.
No? Luanne was telling me how to make...
Cheese.
Cheese? Mm-hmm. I'm going to make some cheese. Next time you're on the panel, I'm going to make some cheese. Is that a nice romantic thing to do, make cheese for your...
So, absolutely. As long as you put wine with it.
Wine and cheese? I don't do wine anymore.
Oh, don't you?
Yeah.
How much wine do you do?
Only when I go out.
Only when you go out?
Every night.
Every night. I get it.
And I haven't been to Bali for 7 years, so there.
I haven't been to Bali for 19 years.
Oh, you're not missing much.
And I'm only 24, so gee. I'm not missing much. Hello. When was the last time you were there, Louise?
Bali, I haven't been to for a long time. I prefer to go to Europe.
Same as me. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Good for you. Me too. I'm coming with you. Tuck me in your luggage when you go. Here we go. First letter. Have you seen the first letter?
I have. I'm super excited. It's right up my alley.
It is. It's about 300 pair of shoes at least. Have you seen the first letter?
I have read that, yes.
I'm pleased. Do you know Brian of West Lakes in South Australia?
No? No, but I'd like to.
Dear panel, like many women, my wife has always had a soft spot for shoes. It's not uncommon for her to buy several pairs a month. As her collection grew and began taking over our bedroom, she agreed every time she bought a pair, she would give a pair away. At the time, she had, get this, 300 pairs of shoes. Recently, the last of our 3 children moved out of home and my wife has been struggling to find a purpose. Last week, I went into one of my daughter's bedrooms to store something in the wardrobe and was absolutely shocked to see it jam-packed with shoes. On further investigation, there were boxes of shoes under the bed and in the drawers. I went to the other 2 spare bedrooms and the story was the same. I counted, get this, 912 pairs of shoes. When I approached my wife, she became angry and accused me of trying to control what she spends money on. I reckon that's fair enough, actually. And ruin, get this, the one thing that makes her happy. She can't see her own addiction and I'm beginning to worry about her state of mind. How do I get her help when she can't see she has a problem? Our house is slowly being taken over by shoes and our surplus income is all being wasted on shoes. Is there a cure for shopaholics? As I said, Brian of West Lakes in South Australia. Alex, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
Oh, probably about 40.
40?
Yeah.
Oh, that's normal for a woman, isn't
winter
it?
and summer, and then there's the ones that I don't wear anymore because they're too high now.
40?
So, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Wow.
Thongs, sandals, boots, dress shoes, casual shoes, coloured to go with outfits. Yeah, women.
40
It's
women.
But, okay, what I think you should do, they say happy wife, happy life. So what you should do is make a little deal with your wife and make her like these special shoe racks, the ones that spin around, and then have a room just for her shoes. And then do a deal with her and let her have her shoes and then say, in return, you've got to give me more sex. And I think he'll be happy then. And
if he wants more sex.
Yeah, well, most men usually do, don't they?
After
and
a
then,
while.
and another thing you can do is instead of just complaining about it, just take a pair of shoes that are in the back of the cupboard somewhere and give them away. Take them to the salvos or something.
Oh.
She won't even know because if she's got 912 shoes,
She won't
you
know.
wouldn't know how many. Would you know? I don't know, even though I've got
Wouldn't
40.
know.
I don't know how many.
Wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if you gave away a pair of one of my 3 pairs.
3? Is that all you got, Gary? 3 pairs? Yes.
Louise, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
Well, I don't know. I haven't counted, but I do have like a shoe box for all my boots, and everything's in the boxes. You know, I keep them in the original boxes. So I'm more of an investor.
In shoes?
In shoes.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Is that a thing? Can you invest in shoes?
Well, the thing is you don't buy so many, but you buy very good quality.
Oh.
So, and then you love them all. And I have a bit of a rule too, that you walk away for 24, 48 hours, and if it's still in your head that, oh, I love those pair of shoes, you go back.
Oh, I do that
Yeah.
in pet stores.
So same thing, and I think for Brian's wife, obviously she is filling a void, but you know, maybe have some fun with it and categorise them. You know, do a little bit of a catalogue and heels, flats, boots, and then colour code each of those. And then she'll see,
Too technical.
she'll
Stick it on
see,
box.
no, but she'll see how much she's overlapping and she doesn't need all those.
Oh.
Give them away to a charity, sell a few, and get into the quality over.
Is that what you want to do, Brian? Sit there and catalogue your wife's 912 pair of shoes?
Well, he-
Oh, goodness
Yeah, why
me.
not?
He counted them.
Oh, well, yeah. And his time's used up already. That's it. Tanya, what do you do here? How many shoes have you got?
Not as many as what you think.
Okay.
Firstly, sorry, Brian, that she doesn't have a sex addiction.
That was
That's
a very
free.
smart answer, wasn't it? Not as many as what you think. Okay, clever.
I'm going to have to say that again. Firstly, Brian, sorry she doesn't have a sex addiction. That's free.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I got it.
I would say that basically, like most forms of addiction, that she's already altered the brain chemistry, so she does get a natural high from these purchases. I've also roughly calculated she's spent approximately $47,500 on these shoes. So I think what I would suggest is that you need to redirect her happiness, and I would suggest that maybe you book a holiday together and say that instead of spending so much money on the shoes, every time she goes to buy a pair of shoes, she puts money or deposits money into the joint holiday account. And then you take a trip together and fill that void in another way.
Incentivise it. Last word, Louanne.
Okay. I think that we're kind of missing the point of this poor woman who is having some serious
You're a
problems
very
there.
kind lady, aren't you?
The issue here is the need for instant gratification and the OCD behaviour that's going on here. So I think what Brian would be better off doing is to find out, does she have an attachment to the actual shoes? So what would happen if you tried to give them away? Because is she hoarding? Or is she having compulsive obsessive disorder? Very easy to
Test it.
And if these things are left undone, what you're going to get is anxiety and depression and all sorts of other issues on top. So whilst I would like to say I can come and relieve you of these 912 pairs of shoes very happily, there's underlying stuff that
Issues.
really needs to be sorted out here, because that instant gratification of needing to purchase is a
Louanne,
different
we
problem.
asked our viewers at home to answer this question for us. Is owning over 500 pairs of shoes a clear indication of addiction and other mental afflictions? And here's what you said. There it is. 67% of you said yes, and 33% of you have no idea what you're talking about. When we come back, we're going to be talking about what's too young an age to get married. Don't go away. More of our ladies straight after the break.
When I was in Italy, I went to a shoe factory.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar in there.
Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. If you'd like to send us a letter, send it to the addresses on your screen. Any one of these social media contact points will land a letter here. And there it is. What have we got?
On the net, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat.
Oh, you're very good. And for everyone who does send us a letter, we're going to send you to the movies courtesy of our very lovely Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. And this week we're sending you to any movie of your choice. To the Palace Cinemas. I've seen that. It was spectacular.
I bet it is, yeah.
I loved it. Thank you, Nat. Thank you, Palace. And anybody who wants to go to the new Palace in Perth, I went the other day
To see Queen?
to see Queen.
Why did
It
you
was
call me?
spectacular. The cinema is...
Why you did not call?
It's all premium class, like gold class. I was just blown away.
you not call?
Loved it. Loved the meal,
you not
the
call?
service. I call all the time. You never pick up. No pick up.
Oh, you did not call me.
Letter 2. Leave your mother at home next time, will you? Gee, here we go. Hi, sweet and sour. My beautiful 18-year-old daughter came to me only yesterday to give me the worst news I could have ever heard from her young voice. She wants to get married. She's a beautiful-looking girl with such a sweet nature that it was never going to be long before some charmer came along and tried to sweep her off her feet. Well, her 22-year-old boyfriend of the last 18 months did just that. And so she's fallen madly in love with him and they want to get married. For the record, he's a nice boy. In my mind, however, she's just too young. And with life so full of opportunities now, there's no question that she'll regret it. I know she's allowed to make her own mistakes, and that's part of life's journey and learnings. But surely, in this age where you're able to sample so much of life without restricting yourself, is there something I can say to her where she gets the message that she can have her cake and eat it too? Her mother and I have been divorced for 10 years, but I'm sure she'd agree with me that our daughter is just too young for marriage. What could I possibly say or do to buy some time for my daughter? I don't want to see her end up as a statistic, and it comes to us from Gerard of City Beach in WA. Is that Gerard or is that Jared?
I was thinking Gerard.
Gerard. All right, Tanya, first up to Gerard.
Yeah, I think, hi Gerard, I think there's nothing that you can really say, and I don't think that you should really butt in. I do appreciate that she is young, but I've certainly noticed a big trend heading towards the younger generation actually marrying a lot earlier and having children a lot earlier. Yeah, we seem to have gone into a cycle. And I think a lot of that has to do with we live in such a shallow 2D world where people are actually wanting to formulate longer lasting, deeper relationships. The world's also very chaotic, and I think the younger generation is seeking stability. The advantage of marrying young is that, and I certainly know this as I've gotten older, the difference with when you're younger, you're prepared to grow together. But as you get older, you're trying to merge two very different lives. And I think growing together is, something to be considered.
Louanne.
Okay, this is not a bad thing. This is actually a really wonderful thing for your daughter to come to you with, because it could be the fact that she's out there trying to find somebody, getting used by guys, getting thrown away like yesterday's newspaper. She's got one guy that's committed to her. The very best thing that you could do, in my perception, is to tell her it's the most wonderful news that you've heard, that you want to give her the wedding of her dreams, and to do that, you need to be able to save to give her this beautiful wedding. And in the meantime, she should move in with her boyfriend and experience marriage life together. There's every probability that if he's really worried that this is not going to be a lasting thing, it will fizzle and die before the wedding. And she gets to, try before she buys and see what the reality of actually living with somebody and washing their socks.
So don't say no, say,
no, say,
honey,
amazing, that's fantastic.
Honey, move
I
in.
want to give you a brilliant wedding and I want to save the money to do that, so I don't want to slow your process, so move in together and let me save.
Smart strategist. All right, Alex, what are you going to say here?
I just think, wisdom is usually, when you're older, you learn your wisdom, you get that experience and you understand that. So with young people, like, love is for the young, and when you're young and in love, that's all you want to do.
Is that
together.
True? Love,
it is.
Love is just for the young.
It is. I mean, when it's unbridled love and you have never been hurt, there's nothing better than that.
Oh, well,
okay?
yeah.
And we all have that first love when, everything means the world to you. But, what I think is my auntie, she got married when she was 18, and she was with her husband till he died, and they had such a strong bond. They had such a strong bond together. They loved each other. They've got beautiful children. I mean, it depends on the individual how you communicate with each other. So you shouldn't condemn it in a way that, oh, she needs to grow and see the world, because there's so many failed marriages anyway. What's the difference whether you're 18 or 40 or 30 and you get married? It'll either work or it won't.
It'll work or it won't. Louise, will it work? Consolation prize, a pair of shoes if it doesn't.
Yeah, no, well, I gave my parents the same kind of concern, because I met my hubby when I was 18 and he was 25.
Wow.
Yes.
man.
And we've been married for 31 years.
Fantastic. Well done.
Yes. So you just don't know. But I have a friend who advises really well, I think, and she says she's got 3 daughters and is teacher at girls' school, and she says get them to date for at least 12 months. So you go through all seasons, like if they play footy, you know, cricket, whatever.
All seasons.
And then next thing is plan a holiday. Make them plan a holiday together. Because yeah, see if they travel well, organise well, budget well together. And then the final thing is live together. But my final thing is get them to go to engagement encounter. Have
What's
you heard of
that?
No.
Engagement encounter?
Yeah, the Catholic Church has it. I'm sure others will have it as well. And you go and you have to discuss certain aspects like finance, children, where the children go to school, budgets, what you're going to spend your money on, where you're going to live, and all these things. And you either
The
come
real
out,
world.
Yeah, you either come out of it going, oh, we've discussed all those things, and you know,
Or
that's
they go,
fine.
oh.
Parents.
Or, oh my God, we didn't agree on anything, and they've got a lot of work to do.
Oh.
There you go.
We asked our viewers at home to answer this question: should all teenagers be legally prevented from marrying? And here's what you said.
Yes.
56% said yes, they should be legally prevented from marrying. Do you think all the people who were unhappy answered yes to that question? 44% said no.
That's about the same as the divorce rate.
It is, isn't it? All right. When we come back, we're going to be talking about, should you always put the kids first? Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see what the ladies have got to say. More of Sweet and Sour after the break. See you then.
Oh, about that one, that could be a difficult one. That one.
Why wouldn't your kids...
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour. Pour some sugar on there, baby. It's time for...
It is. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. We're all having private conversations on the panel. And come in and join us as well. Here we go with our last letter. Me. Hello, Sweet and Sour. I'm in a not-so-new relationship and all the charade of courting is pretty much over. She's a mum with 2 teenage kids and I have none. I get that kids, and these are really good kids, have demands and that she as a mum has an enormous responsibility to their upbringing and well-being. That's both normal and natural. I even find myself looking after them and teaching them, and frankly, I love it. There comes a point, however, where she can't presume that I'm going to put her kids above us in our relationship. I wouldn't even know her kids if I wasn't interested in her. She asked me in the beginning not to put anything above our relationship, and I fully and completely agreed. She, however, will abandon our plans no matter what, just in case the kids may need something or be dropped off here or there. You wouldn't think she has an ex-husband who has custody 40% of the time. It impacts everything: fitness, health, relaxation, work, holidays, sex, you name it. I feel like my services have been retained to service the kids. I never come first. What can I do to change this? And have I any right to demand equal consideration? All I want is balance. It's not the kids' fault, it's hers. Barry of Lower Templestowe in Victoria. Louanne, relationship expert. What's going on here?
Okay, Barry, newsflash, it's not the kid's fault. That's actually not her fault. It's your fault.
What?
You have allowed this behaviour. She has not changed the goalpost since the day that you met her. You allowed this situation, as this is part of her values, you allowed it, and now you're crying about it because all of a sudden you've changed your values and you want to change the goalpost. She hasn't changed anything.
But they said something different in the beginning.
They said something different, but you can say whatever you want. You can sit there and say, but your actions demonstrate what you're prepared to accept and what you're prepared not to. It's no point saying, oh, yes, I'm going to do this and this is the intention, and then acting in a completely different manner and then trying to project that back onto somebody else. The simple fact is that, Barry, you're a big grown man and you have the opportunity to say, do you know what, honey? That's not going to work for me.
It's your fault, Barry.
40% of the time, as you have pointed out, the children are with the father. You can have sex wherever you want in the house. You can go out, you can do whatever you want in that 40% of the time. In the rest of the time, guess what? You don't have to put the kids first. You can put yourself first and say, do you know what, darling, I understand that you've got to go and do this with the kids. I'm going to go play golf. And that's going to be up to her whether she accepts that or not. But don't project it back onto her because you're not happy that she's not performing how you want her to perform.
Tanya, Louanne says what you say and what you do are 2 different things, and that's acceptable.
Yeah. Barry, I'm a single parent and people like you annoy me, basically. Being a single parent is hard enough already. We've already got kids and you sound like a very big one. I don't think you're emotionally ready to handle having to share your partner with anyone else apart from yourself. It's unfortunate that she does have children and can't spend her time feeding you grapes. I think maybe for you, maybe this is like a timing thing, and maybe in a couple of years' time, you could possibly look at dating a MILF then.
Ooh, dating a MILF. We asked our viewers at home to answer this question for us before we ask Louise and Alex what their views are. Should you make a point of always trying to love your partner's children? Well, what do you reckon you said? There you go. 88% of people said yes. You should always make a point of loving your partner's children. So, my question to you, Louise, is this not loving your partner's children when you want more me time? Because he's run around and looked after them forever and a day, and you know
But he hasn't really, has he? I think.
He said, I even find myself looking after them and teaching them.
love it.
Frankly, I love it.
And they love it.
I think, well, I mean, in a married relationship, the husband and wife are like ships in the night anyway, looking after the children. So I think he just needs to get used to it. And they're teenagers, and if he hangs around for a few years, they will get more independent, and it will get better. But for now, or have a conversation with her. I mean,
How old are they? They're teenagers.
Yeah, look, they'll become more
none.
independent. But at the moment, she's being a responsible mother.
And he says these are really good kids.
Exactly. Like, what's he really complaining about? Like, pack her bags and take her away for a night, maybe, when the children are at
Sorry
the...
for him.
I know.
Do you
but
think Barry's
seriously,
adjusting to having kids and he's just woken up that, oops, I've taken on this responsibility and he's...
No, crybaby, he wants to come first.
He wants to come first.
Right to come first.
He's just
They have
woken
an
up.
agreement.
I think, look, have one night a week, or reality is one night a month. Perhaps they go on a date, or surprise her occasionally while the children are at the father's. Pack her bag and take her to a hotel for the night. Do something, or get out. Maybe she's just not that into you.
Alex, is she into him?
Look, I think she's taking liberties because he states very clearly here that, he likes looking after them and he's put a lot of effort into them. And she asked me in the beginning not to put anything above our relationship. And I fully and completely agreed. So she's broken the contract. He's got every right to feel that he's not being put above the children. They're teenagers now. They don't need to be looked after that much. And you know what, Barry? Come to Perth. There's a lot of single women here. You can find someone here. Easy. Come over. I'll go out with you.
You've only got one on your side. What were you saying, Tan? You wanted to...
Yeah, I think it should be like, it's a no-brainer though. Everyone who says anything, when they've got children, it's kind of a given that the children actually come first above everything else. And honestly, I think if you did go out with him, you would regret it.
Ooh.
Apples and oranges.
3 people on this panel don't like you, Barry. I'm really sorry, mate. But thank you for your letter.
Apples and oranges.
We've got to go. The Portocalis family. We've got to go. Tanya, lovely to see you.
Thank you. Lovely to see you as well.
We'll have you back just after you've been to Bali again.
Oh, God.
Are you going again?
No immediate plans.
Oh, that didn't stop you this time, did it? No. Luanne?
Hello.
You have to give me that cheese recipe again because I've forgotten already. When are you going to be giving lifestyle or romantic advice on national television again? Soon?
Soon, very soon.
Very soon? Soon? That's where you know her face from now, folks. What are you going about?
Oh, just the cheese recipe. I want to know.
Okay, I'll handball it to you once I get it.
cheese.
You want to make cheese too? You want cheese as well?
I don't want to make cheese. I just want to eat.
Yeah, me too.
You sell shoes.
Red wine, cheese, red wine, crackers, perfect.
We're going to keep chatting. Thank all of our wonderful panellists for being with us tonight. Thank all of our terrific crew, and thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. This is where we're waiting. Good night, Australia. See you next week. Bye-bye.
This is such an unnatural thing to do.
I know.
What, waiting?
Doesn't it?
Beverly Hillbillies.